huge pleasure to be here with you, see a full audience, everybody that's also following our event through the internet, and this makes a great difference for us here. We are also all together doing social good. I was thinking what I can speak now for this informal chat, and I have to remember what happened 3 years ago when we started thinking about launching this movement, social good, here in Brazil. What moved us? And as Carol mentioned, some organizations that put together this movement, and also remember that belief that I have since 2006 that technology more and more and the new medias and innovative thinking can make a difference for a better world and a fairer world. And we can only build this together by the force of the collective, of everyone that is here and is part of this movement. Today, as well as an idea and a dream that started with only a few, there are thousands, perhaps millions of people all over the world participating of this great international movement for the social good in the world and in Brazil. What really makes me think about and reflect upon how we are empowered. And an individual dream, there are several examples here today. They can become true, they can make the difference in the whole, in the society where we live in. This is a great privilege of our time, and we can also make good use of it. Let me quickly share a little bit of the history of this technological movement for social change and how we all got engaged in this. The voluntary action, voluntary work, idealized the social good together with ICom, and Anderson will talk about this. And we started working with technology for voluntary work. Back there in 2006, how could we bring online voluntary work to Brazil, digital voluntary work? And that was our first dream and first challenge. Now we are over 60,000 voluntaries online in Brazil. And together with ICom, we have the first seminar for social change here in Florianopolis. Before we got together to know social good, in 2011, we worked in Synergy, ICom and EVA, and we brought social good, and we went in New York. We met you, Robert, and we were really enchanted by it. It's more than a summit. We thought about implementing a program, and this program is what you have here today. It has the size it has today because of the strength of everybody that participates, collaborates, and our partners. And I'd like to talk about Luis here from Telefônica. From the very beginning, when it was still a dream, he was there with us, reinforcing this dream. I know that all of you here listening to us, you have a dream, and that was our dream back then. We took this idea to the Fundação Telefônica, and they said, okay, let's build this together. Let's do this in a collaborative fashion. Let's make social good happen. And that's what happened. So 2 organizations from Florianopolis that promote this example here, with all these other partners. From the beginning with the United Nations, with Robert, we have the partnership with Itaú now that has synergy, that believe with the same vibration, with the same synergies, with the collective force, we can go really far in this movement, and we can really address social problems and find solutions. It's not us, it's each and every one of you here with us, of this 1,000 people here, and everyone that is watching us over the internet, and then have been impacted by the documentary, by the lab, and all the actions that we work with. And I'd like also to mention that all of this is possible because we have a team that believes in technology for social change. It's a powerful tool. And Carol, it's, our team, we work very hard, don't we, Carol? And we want to share this with you. I'd like several of you, not only Carol, but many people from our team, we do this with a lot of love, with heart, and mainly with the belief that every one of us has a great change, and we had never had such change up to now. Thank you very much to all of you. And certainly we have a great talk here, and we'll gain your minds and your hearts. Thank you very much.
Kind of alien or something, but thank you so much for all of you to give us the opportunity of having this great conversation. It's a conversation that goes beyond this place, this venue, and I'm sure it's going to influence hearts with this ideology on social changes. The organization, which is a communitary foundation, it has a territorial basis and has a local thought way to do, which is the basis of its essence. And we ask ourselves many times, why should we transcend this territory? Why should we go beyond? And what does technology have to do with communitary development? So we started in 2009, 2010, at a tall, clear fashion together with Ana, Fernanda, and Io. And the people that founded, people that are innovative, that are linked with the trends that what we do here in Santa Catarina, Florianopolis, and Great Florianopolis. This is a space in Brazil that it's positioning itself as an innovation region. So it makes sense to us to speak about innovation, social innovation, communitary innovation, and our leaderships. Julia is our president, Lucia is our council president, Patricia is our director. All these people decided that we should go a little bit beyond and explore the opportunity, not only to strengthen people locally in their local work, but to influence them to influence other results and in other places and impact other places. And it makes sense to us to start actually discussing this, bringing the technology within the organizations and the civil society, local civil societies, so then people can work in a more robust way. They are able to use all the tools that are available in order to launch their ideas and impact something that is good, it's necessary to be done here, it needs to create development, generate development here, but it can also be good to do the same things elsewhere, making the Great Florianopolis to be a place with good quality of life to all of us, and also to generate value in other places. We believe in tools of change, and ICom wants to be that, and its partners want to be that. And this is a time now for us to thank. So for the ones who invest on this, for the ones who believe in this, we have local supporters, people that really support us. I mean, they know that how influent this place is. Pedra Branca, Voa, Asas, Porto Belo, and also people. Dr. Maria Melli, Esther, these people believe in us. He is the physical investors network, people that give 20, they donate 20, 40, 50 reais per month, but they help, and these projects can really generate impact, and these are participation channels for everybody. And my reflection for today, it's good for me too, and I want to share that with you. Changing tools implying responsibility. We are doing that. We use technology. It's our role to know who we are and what we want. What's our role as individuals? And we need to know and to be ready to use that the best way possible to generate change. Thank you. The Global Foundation. We are inserted in this global movement. We have, of course, a local action, but it makes sense. So, and it's very similar to what we do in our foundation. Our own business promotes many changes. And if we, I don't know, if we say, let's say 5 years ago, things have been changing so much. You know, the communication tools, they promoted change everywhere, but I think we still have a lot of challenges. and how we can use these technologies in a more social way, how technology can speed up the development of communities, how technology can help in people's personal development. That's a big part of our mission and the vision of Telefônica Vivo. Being here today is a possibility for us as a foundation, as an organization, to rethink our investment model, to rethink, to inspire ourselves in how our projects are evolving. It's always a pleasure, huge pleasure to participate, to co-create with these people, because we go back home thinking, wow, digital volunteers, which is one of our flags, entrepreneurship together with young people, education, using technology. Then we go home thinking, whoa, what if? And then maybe you can try and improve our theories. It's always a pleasure to be here with you in this movement. And now, just to let you know, we'll be here next year together with Social Good, supporting this movement. Thank you so much, Fernanda. Thank you, Carol, for everything.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. Before starting, I'd like to ask you a question. Are you happy? Why did I ask you that? And because every day in the morning, my boss comes to me and said, "Hi, how are you? Are you happy?" And that question really touches me deeply, because it's different to just ask, "How are you?" He asks me, about yourself. And this is an environment here that people that are here are protagonists. And they are protagonists in what they believe in their dream. And when we are protagonists of a dream and we want this dream to become true, we become much happier. So it's going from this standpoint, and why do we believe in this? Answering your question, I personally believe in this a lot, and so does Itaú. And that's why we joined this cause. That's why we believe, in fact, in social good and in the benefits it brings to the entire society. Social good is nothing else but asking, why are you there? And I ask, why wouldn't I be there? Itaú is a technological bank. We develop thousands of applicatives to be faster, more agile. But more than that, social good is connection, is protagonism. When we read the missions of both, the words repeat themselves. Dream, protagonism, social change, and Itaú needs to be included. We are working together. From the conception, we work together. So this is the main point. And Itaú, as you saw just a little bit, our cause was shown in a video. We do have a strong social platform, and we put under an umbrella, which means this changes the world. And we chose some causes we already invested on, but we focus on that, on culture, education, and now we have the campaign Read to a Child. Regardless of being a Itaúca's client or not, you can ask for books to read to your communities, to your local areas, and through digital means. We have education. In our booth, we would like you to participate in our booth. We have education in all models, through sports, education, through financial education. We brought even a financial consultant there to ask you, what do you want to do to make your dreams come true? And we want to contribute like that. And a strong society is more wealthy, and not only wealthy in money, but wealthy in desires, in dreams, a rich society. And we want this to happen more and more. And our fourth platform, the newest one, it is urban mobility. The bikes, the orange-colored bikes that are all over the cities. Itaú has a social engagement. We really engage, we get involved in the platform. It's our sweat, everyday work. And we see some partners here, and one that you will listen here, JP from Bike Anjo, which stands for Angel Bike. It's a small platform, started very small, and now is all over Brazil. So this wealth, these connections, this technology that facilitates people's lives and brings social change, social engagement, this is what we seek at all times. This is why we are here and believe so deeply in this. And we want to live this as a mission, to leave this summit very inspired, multiply this inspiration and multiply this wealth we have here. Thank you very much.
Okay, now I'm good. So between the headsets and the microphones, it's a lot to manage and technology-wise here. So I'd like to thank all of you for being here. This is amazing. I've been to Brazil several times. This is my first Social Good Summit Brazil, so it's great to be here. And thanks to everyone that worked on it, Carol, the whole team. You've been amazing. You know, and I'd also, of course, like to thank the translator because that was amazing. I think that I was able to hear all the amazing things my colleagues set up here, so that was great, and it's just amazing to be here and great to be here. You know, the question about technology, I mean, for me, technology is about opportunity, and we started the Social Good Summit 5 years ago in New York. To create an opportunity for people to engage with all the things that were going on at the United Nations. You know, every September, the world leaders converge on the United Nations. There are other events going on around the city that those world leaders attend, but people who want to solve problems and take actions weren't necessarily part of that. You know, people like me, people like you, that are connected, care about all those big problems the United Nations is trying to solve, that the world leaders come together to talk about. But I will confess that from the United Nations Foundation, we didn't think it was the most open and inclusive conversation taking place. So we said, let's do something to bring people into this conversation and bring United Nations leaders and bring other leaders together to a place outside of the UN that week. They're there. A lot of folks that care about the issues are there. We want to have an exchange, a conversation, not people making speeches, not people, you know, just talking at people, but having a conversation. So with our partners at the 92nd Street Y, which is our amazing venue in New York City, and Mashable, which has a digital reach, the three of us saw an opportunity for all of us to work together and make something interesting happen and create that dialogue. So it was about an opportunity for us to bring the United Nations out, an opportunity for Mashable to create news. I mean, how many people know what Mashable is? Show of hands, please. Yeah, so people follow Mashable, and they know that it's an amazing digital news site that's more and more covering, you know, the social good issues as they've become, you know, more. They were great partners to begin with, but have always been, you know, covering digital stuff. But now they're bringing digital together with, you know, solving problems in a bigger and bigger way, and they just get better all the time. So, you know, we did that because we thought we can make these connections. We can help folks like you, social innovators, young people with big ideas, talk to, you know, what was kind of a closed conversation in New York and make a difference. I mean, I'll admit, we didn't know where it was going to go. We didn't know what we were going to make. We didn't know if we were going to get past the first year we did it. But we found out that people really cared. People wanted to talk to their governments. They wanted to talk to these leaders that were coming together, and they wanted to have a real dialogue. And, you know, we found that the conversations that, like we're having here, were important, you know, where folks are on stage talking to the audience. But what was happening was, which I'm sure will happen more here, and I saw happen when I came in the building today, people are talking to each other in the corridors, making connections, meeting, and saying, you know, we can get together, we can make, you know, make a difference. And, you know, talking to the leaders that are here on stage with me, that's what they're doing at a global and a local level, and that's what it's really about. I mean, I think sometimes we get overwhelmed by the big problems, you know, climate change, you know, poverty, those kinds of things are big global issues to try and take on that folks at the UN are talking about all the time, but they have to be attacked at the local level, and that's where everyone that's working at a local level that has good ideas and has big ideas can really make a difference, and that's what we try to create. And, you know, as I sit here at Social Good Summit Brazil, you know, I see that the Brazilian community is totally behind this, you know, really behind this, is using technology to create opportunities to make a difference in society here, but also exchanging with, you know, with like-minded people who are trying to solve problems, you know, whether it be, you know, I always hear about these conversations at the United Nations, you know, North-North cooperation, South-South cooperation, North-South cooperation, and then I heard one that I hadn't heard before a few months ago, or a couple months ago, that was triangular cooperation. And I said, that's just a bunch of governments talking about what people are already doing, really. I mean, people are getting together online, through digital, on mobile, to solve problems and exchange ideas already. So they can keep talking about all the, and put these names to things that people are already doing. And I think that all of you in the room, I'm sure, recognize that and are working with in your own communities, but also working and looking at what's happening around the world to solve problems that are maybe similar, or actually helping discover what those solutions are in other places. And I'm going to tell a very quick story. I think I'm at the end of my time. I can see the big red screen back there. But one of the things that happened at the Social Good Summit in New York this year, and I've never told this story to an audience. I tell it a lot, like over drinks. So maybe over caipirinhas, I'll do a better job later today. But at Social Good Summit this year, we had the amazing opportunity to have Alicia Keys speak and perform and launch her new charitable effort. Alicia Keys, an amazing performer, and so she came to do this launch. But speaking just before Alicia Keys on the Social Good Summit agenda was a guy named Mazen Khalil. I'm sure all of you have heard of Alicia Keys. I'm sure nobody has heard of Mazen Khalil. But Mazen is a digital entrepreneur in Sudan. And because they were linked and close together on stage time at the same time, they were crossing paths in the backstage area. And Mazen from Sudan, young guy, really great social entrepreneur, saw her and was asking her to take photos with her, be in pictures. And of course, Alicia Keys, being an amazingly nice person, as well as a great entertainer, said, okay, we'll do this pictures. I don't know who this guy is, but fine. We'll do these photos and have a conversation. So as she went out and launched her new effort called We Are Here, she performed, was amazing, and she put out a challenge. She said, I'm going to put $1 million myself into this effort, and I have a colleague from a foundation who's also putting up $1 million from a foundation, and we're going to raise money to take on these 12 issues. She said 12 issues she was working on. And so everyone said, fantastic, great. It was an amazing moment. She went backstage, and she met Mazen again, who was still back there in the backstage area, and they had a conversation again. Nobody's quite sure who Mazen is. He's kind of this small, slight Sudanese guy who nobody knew. And Mazen stood up in the middle of the green room, the backstage area, and said, I'm going to match your $1 million. I am going to give you, Alicia Keys, $1 million for what you're going to do, for what you're trying to do. I believe in it. And of course, Alicia Keys and her group kind of looked at each other and said, again, who is this guy? We don't know who this guy is. He's from Sudan. We heard him speak a little bit. We don't know what he's doing. And kind of walked over and said to a couple of us who they knew were working there, said, well, is this real? Will he really give us $1 million? And we said, yeah, he's real. He's a young entrepreneur who created a digital platform that all of this government, of the state of Sudan's medical records are being run on, and it's also being looked at in Jordan, Egypt, and he just made a deal with a big company in the United States because he leapfrogged the the technologies that medical records are kept on, not just in Sudan, but in countries all over the world, including the digitalization of medical records in the United States. So that's the kind of thing that we'd like to see. Here is a young, professional, digital entrepreneur, a doctor from Sudan, identified a problem in his country, fixed it, and now was providing Alicia Keys support for her project. So I don't know if I would call that South-North cooperation or exactly what I'd call it, but I'd call it the kind of connections that get made when people who care about solving problems get together in the same room or online and find a way to solve them. Thank you.
Great. I'd like to close this welcoming session stressing everything we said here. This event is about protagonism and social innovation. The new tool for change is you, it's us. As Rob says, technology is opportunity, technology is access, it's transparency, it's a scale. It's for us to more and more be able to distribute knowledge, distribute wealth. And we see that technology can really manage to do this in a much faster way, faster than we had ever seen before. So how can we use this for good? And I'd like to thank all of you for being here on stage and sharing with our audience your view. Thank the engagement of each organization. Thank Rob that came from the United States, and it's a great partner. The United Nations is one of the greatest founders of the social good in the world, and I'd like to invite 2 people from our team to come over here to also welcome you and also introduce a little bit of what our event will be like. And as Rob mentioned, Social Good Summit is very different, it's bold, less talks and more chat, so to say. So thank you.